Boston,
Here.
Hutton. Here. Leahy. Here. Mendoza.
Here.
Pearsall. Here. Taylor. Here.
Have quorum. Have a motion by Boston to approve minutes from the April 16, 2025 meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Leahy.
Oh, I should have had you.
I lost my counts.
Here's this one. I don't see it. We have one item.
Second by Leahy.
Yeah.
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton. Yes. Leahy.
Yes.
Mendoza.
Yes.
Pearsall.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Motion carried. I have a motion by Boston to adopt ordinance 828, Village of Albany 2025-26 budget. Do I have a second? And is there any discussion? Second?
I'll second.
Second by Taylor.
Taylor.
Yes.
Pearsall.
Yes.
Mendoza.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
Hutton.
Yes.
Boston.
No. I'm just kidding, yes.
Motion carries either way.
Could I have a couple minutes?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. I'd like to address everyone in the room if I could. I believe I've earned that. Please bear with me. On June 16th of 2021, the new board voted to hire Brenda Stewart to help in the office. The vote was 4-2 with trustees Pearsall and Theismann each voting no. Not long after she started, Brenda discovered that Albany's books were off. In fact, they were substantially off. After learning this, Steve Geis and I met with Assistant Treasurer Chris Goodson. Goodson acknowledged they were off and told us they had been since January of 2021. He said he had told former Mayor Rowland, former trustee budget officer Welch, and trustee Pearsall, but he had no logical explanation for not telling the new board members. Just like Goodson, trustee Pearsall decided to keep that bit of knowledge a secret too. The board later terminated Goodson, the same guy that Rowland, Welch, and Pearsall each voted to give $5 an hour raise to at their very last meeting. As it turned out, the books were in such disarray that Albany's longtime auditor was unable to perform our required audit. Because of that, the county withheld over $50,000 of tax revenue. We had also received a letter from the Illinois Comptroller advising that Albany would face daily fines until an audit had been conducted. The auditor told Brenda that if she could get the books balanced within $5,000, they would be able to start the audit. Sadly, not long after she made the board aware of the auditor's offer, Brenda lost her battle with COVID. But the progress she had made allowed the audit to take place, and we received the withheld funds from the county. Along with identifying the unbalanced books, Brenda had also discovered that Albany's share of ARPA funds was in jeopardy, American Rescue Plan Act. For some reason, Goodson had neglected to respond to numerous emails requesting information required to be completed before Albany received any funds. And the compliance deadline was just days away. Goodson never brought this to the attention of any new board member. Had Brenda not found those unanswered emails and then followed through with them, Albany likely would never have received those funds. Funds valued at nearly $120,000, and which ultimately paid for a significant portion of the water tower painting. It was quite fortunate for every Albany resident that Brenda Stewart was hired. Prior to being elected, I had submitted a FOIA request to the village. In apparent retaliation, Brian Rowland and Pam Pearsall decided to make some changes. Through many years, be it for baseball sign-up, garage sales, or other community events, individuals were often able to have their information placed inside residents' bills. But after my FOIA request, they decided to start charging those individuals to have their flyers mailed. Both Rowland and Pearsall publicly blamed me and my FOIA request as the reason this change was made, saying it was because I had asked for transparency. The new board's first FOIA request came just 2 days after we were sworn in. That request asked for the names of any current employee or board member a former employee had talked to. I'm not kidding. A request asking for the names of any current board employee or board member, any current employee or board member a former employee had talked to. Over the next 4 years, we received dozens and dozens more. Most of them were just as nonsensical as that first one. Just 6 weeks after Brenda passed away, Aaron submitted a request for 19 months of financial documents, totaling more than 400 pages. My assumption is that he did this for someone else. And whoever it was, they were hoping to prove I was lying about the books being off. Then there were the complaints to the Illinois Attorney General. The wild accusations about Open Meetings Act violations because 3 board members were seen together outside of a meeting. Those complaints came from Trustee Pearsall, one of 3 family members that served together on this board for years, but apparently never got together outside of board meetings. My first experience writing a budget was bizarre, to say the least. Albany's new treasurer, Rhonda Carter, and the longtime billing clerk decided to play some games, hiding bank statements and other financial information from me. In one instance, I had informed both of them that I was coming in to look over ARs and APs the following morning. When I arrived, I found those file cabinets locked. This was surprising as I had never before seen either one locked. When I asked for the cabinets to be unlocked, they told me they didn't know where the keys were. And neither one had any idea how the cabinets came to be locked in the first place. Going into the office became so uncomfortable for me that I had stopped going in alone. One day, just days after encountering the locked file cabinets, I noticed the mayor's car parked outside, so I went in. I asked both the treasurer and billing clerk for the bank statements. Without saying a word to me, the billing clerk got up and walked down the hall to the records room, right over here. She unlocked the door, went inside, and retrieved the banker's box. On her way back, she stopped outside the mayor's office and asked him if I could have copies of the bank statements. I was the new budget officer and was trying to write my first budget. Yet the billing clerk was asking the mayor if it was all right for me to look at bank statements. For the record, the law is very clear that the budget officer is to be given access to any and all information needed in order to do their job. It was hard for me to wrap my head around any of this nonsense. In another example, during this same time, while looking over a new GGR, I noticed that one line item in the electric fund had somehow increased from $15,000 to $540,000. This was apparently done with hope that I didn't notice the change and would subsequently sign my name to an erroneous budget. Again, for the record, the change was made in Locus, a program which I'd never had nor ever wanted to have access to. I sent an email to both the treasurer and the billing clerk asking about the $500,000 addition. The reply I received was that they weren't sure how it happened, but the billing clerk did give me a good catch for finding it. The board later terminated Rhonda Carter. And just as had happened after terminating Goodson, several board members were blamed for being bullies and running employees off. On that Albany hate page, Aaron posted that by firing her, the board had set the taxpayers up for a, quote, huge wrongful termination lawsuit, unquote. Several members of that page jumped on board by encouraging Carter to file a lawsuit. Aaron spent a significant amount of 2021 and 2022 relentlessly targeting the new board, and in particular, me. Doing so on that hate page, a page which he was an administrator and that none of the ones being targeted were allowed to participate. Among other things, Aaron and others took to the hate page to complain about it taking so long for the board to address Albany's unsightly water tower. Those complaints started less than 5 months after the new board was seated. And again, for the record, Albany's water tower did not begin to rust the day after we were sworn in. I took the budget officer position for one reason, because no one else wanted it. More than once, I had reached out to the previous budget officer for guidance, but never received a reply. This led to me asking the board to approve spending $150 for me to join an Illinois Finance and Budget Officer group, which I found on the Illinois Municipal League's website. I had hoped this would allow me to connect with other budget officers for questions I was sure I would have. Because of that, Aaron took to his hate page to publicly condemn me, saying I had run for a position I was not qualified for. And of course, the others jumped right on board. Last page, by the way. What do you suppose would have been said if, after getting elected, I had left nearly every meeting early? What if I'd been the one staying for half the time while collecting the same pay as the ones who stayed for the entirety? Do you think they would have been silent? Once more for the record, for 4 years I was present for every minute of every meeting. It would take many, many hours for me to share all of the juvenile and nonsensical things that many of us had to endure over these past 4 years. Even then, I doubt all of the stories would ever see the light of day, as there were simply too many to remember. But the facts I've shared for a reason. In 2023, Albany's treasurer paid an over $800 bill for sand. But the sand was not for Albany. Even though the invoice clearly showed the sand was delivered to a private residence and had been signed by the homeowner, the treasurer paid the invoice without question. Had this not been caught after it had already been paid, more than likely Albany never would have been reimbursed that money. It truly makes me wonder how many times over the years something similar occurred. An invoice came in, a check was cut, then the invoice was filed. We really do need someone watching our money, and I cannot stress that enough. Just imagine how things might have turned out had we never hired Brenda Stewart. Now imagine where Albany would be if we had not fired Chris Goods and Rhonda Carter. Another reason I've given you these facts is because I wanted people to hear some hard truths about what it was like for this new board. All those roadblocks and uphill battles, the persistent targeting of the new board on the hate page, the countless FOIA requests, the crazy allegations, being screamed at and cursed during board meetings. We were turned into OSHA, the Illinois EPA, the Illinois Attorney General, the Illinois Department of Agriculture, the Illinois State Police, the Sheriff's Office, and Lord knows who else. And absolutely nothing came from any of those complaints. Nothing except perhaps the excitement the individuals gleaned from filing their complaint. Obviously, giving this new board a taste of that medicine is appealing to me. I can sit back and watch them try and succeed while navigating a constant barrage of childish antics. It certainly is tempting, and I have not yet ruled it out. But what value would that add? Would it do anything to help the residents of Albany? Of course it wouldn't. And every individual who participated in the last 4 years of bullshit should have known that. Thank you.
Thank you, Floyd. Anybody else have any closing comments? If not, I will end the business portion of this meeting, and then we will follow that up with swearing in the new board. I will take a motion to adjourn if someone has it.
I have not.
I don't have it. 23rd. Carrie and Teresa, I know you both care about the village and the people, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Because I need it. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Joyce, for what you did. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen.
I should just put a journal in.
And the meeting at, most likely 6:15.
6:15.
Can't believe else make all